So when we start thinking about, and let me just tie this back to the beginning. Another one of my favorite definitions of creativity is that it's the defeat of habit by originality. Okay. Creativity is the defeat of habit by originality. So we're in status quo every day. We're doing the same thing. Pattern disruptor. We'll say AI is a major pattern disruptor right now. Climate change is a major pattern disruptor. And so now we need to, and psychedelics are actually pattern disruptors. That's what they do. They disrupt the patterns in our brain. And we can also say that not only is creativity the defeat of habit by originality, but healing of depression is the defeat of habit by originality. So it's the same thing. Okay. That's kind of what I was starting with at the beginning of this talk. And so another one of my favorite definitions by Akoff and Vergara, they defined creativity as the ability to modify self-imposed constraints. Really interesting when you think about it from this perspective. And they say it is clear that procedures for enhancing creativity must either prevent the self-imposition of constraining assumptions or facilitate their removal. Psychedelics is written all over that. That's exactly what they do. And so while we're journeying, just letting your mind wander and there's so many different contexts here, so it's hard to actually just give a one statement, because sometimes when we journey, and I'm very pro recreational exploration. I had a psychotherapist who I think has had all of like 5 journeys expressed to me, that's very irresponsible of you to promote recreational use of psychedelics. And I think that is a very narrow, limiting view plane and perspective to be bringing to the movement, because play is a gateway into neuroplasticity. Humor is a powerful catalyst for creative cognition, for thinking differently. And of course, that goes without saying that we need to first and foremost prioritize our safety. Like, no kidding, of course. So, that's baseline. But if you can be aware all the basis of harm reduction, I'm sure DoubleBlind has amazing tools and resources for harm reduction talks. Psychedelic.support has a free course on harm reduction. Safety is important, but within a safe container, allowing ourselves to play in a way that feels good for us is really conducive to being more creative as creative professionals, right? As people who are needing to overcome challenging situations. I mean, I don't know about you, but the last 2 weeks of the eclipse portal that we've just been in, that just ended yesterday, was like hilarious. There was just so many random problems that pop up, obstacles in the way, that we need to on the fly adapt to and figure out. And we're all facing this so much. And sometimes the best medicine that we can give ourselves is to just take ourselves significantly less seriously, and to remember, there's a part of the Hopi prophecy that says that everything should be done in a sacred manner and that we should celebrate our lives. And I do truly, genuinely believe that, which comes back to this understanding, this notion of following the feeling of inspiration as a powerful catalyst towards contribution, towards following what our unique contribution is. And there is a quote that I actually want to end on that I love this quote from Patanjali that was from 3,000 years ago. And it says, when you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all of your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitation. Your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a new, great, and wonderful world. Dormant forces, I love that term, dormant forces, faculties, and talents become alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person than you ever dreamed yourself to be. That's profound. And it comes from the spark of inspiration. And I think about psychedelics and sacred plant medicines as inspirogens. I am drinking from the well of inspiration But it's more than that. It's more than just feeling it's inspired, right? We need to be clear on, where am I channeling that inspiration? What am I tending to? What am I cultivating? What am I giving that energy to? And how am I doing that at a level of mastery that drives a degree of systems wide change? And that's where so much of this is such a huge training, right? Because it's like, if you want to be at the forefront, it's not just creative thinking, it's courage, it's the willingness to have people who are in the bleachers, who don't want things to change, you know, throw shit at you because you're introducing new ideas that fundamentally shift the ground that they are firmly standing on. And that takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of resilience, it takes a willingness to follow true authenticity, right? So all of these topics are so interwoven, you know, what it means to be an authentic expression of who you are. This interview I did with grandmother Jyoti, gosh, what episode was that? I don't remember now, 36, 33, in that range. She talks about, you know, truth and authenticity is the medicine of our time. Open-mindedness, open-heartedness. This is the medicine of our times. Being willing to actually have a conversation with someone who is on the opposing view plane and listening without reacting, without getting triggered. Actually, we all know about growth mindset, but there are other mindsets we can learn to cultivate, like adaptability mindset. Adaptive mindset is crucial for our times. There's also curiosity mindset. Curiosity is the bridge that helps to bridge the divide between so much polarity that we're living in right now. And so creativity for me isn't just about business, isn't about, you know, solving climate change. Creative cognition is about open mind. And in that open mind, it's about being kinder to people who we're talking with, who we're speaking to. It's about not shutting down ideas prematurely, but staying open, not saying, you know, that's never going to work, and staying open to what else is possible. It's about looking for the cracks in the breakdown and following that and stepping through that crack towards a vast portal of possibility. And as I said at the beginning of this talk, so much of what we perceive is blocked or revealed based on our deeply entrenched hidden beliefs and hidden assumptions. They're constraints that we put on ourselves, and psychedelics help to lift those constraints. They help to remove those constraints. And if you're not applying that in a way that makes you a kinder person, then for me, it's all for naught. It's not for, there's no purpose in it unless we're actually doing it for that kind of purpose, to be better to each other, to be better to this earth, to be better, you know, in service to this transition, these times of change that we're living in, and do our best to support in humanity the best that we can.